Hey guys, it's Kevin. It is time for a new Photoshop walkthrough slash tutorial for this image that I've created. This is one of my most popular images I've ever made on Instagram, and a lot of people are curious on how I made it, so I wanted to show you my process. So this is how I started. I took the picture in our living room. This is my daughter. She's 3 years old. She likes to play Mario. She's not very good at it yet, but she enjoys it, and I thought it'd be cool to do a Mario themed picture. So to set up the picture, I've got an orange light up here. This is just a regular video light, $30 light on Amazon. It's got some orange gel on it. It's right above her head. My wife is holding the light, and it's going right down on top of her hair, on top of her shoulders and her arms and legs. And this is going to sell the idea that there's a glowing box above her head. Now, after I've got this in place, I've got a soft box outside of the camera frame. It's just a nice big soft box. It's got a blue gel on it, and it's aimed right at her body, and that is simulating the TV. So I've got a blue light to the right of the camera, and I've got the orange light above her head. Now, once I'm in Lightroom, I just want to do a few little edits, nothing much, just make my exposure a little bit brighter, maybe add some contrast and take down my blacks a little bit. But I mainly want to add some more blue to it. So I'm going to drag my blue slider all the way to the left until I get to a spot where I like it. Now this really makes it look blue, like this TV is just the main light source in the room, and that's kind of what I wanted. Now when you do that, the entire picture turns bluer, but these yellow highlights still stay yellow and orange, and I love that contrast between blue and yellow. They work together well in Photoshop and with your images, and so this is really the only edit I did in Lightroom, just made it a lot bluer, but maintaining these yellow highlights here as well. Once I have this picture the way I want it, I'm just going to bring it straight into Photoshop, just like this, and now I can start editing my picture. The first thing I did was pretty basic. I just took these logos and words that were on top of her shirt and I just removed them. Did that with the clone stamp tool and the healing brush, just got rid of those. I didn't want those to be too distracting in the picture. And then I made a few things darker in the image. I made her shirt a little bit darker, and I also made her controller, which had a blue cover on it. I just turned that to black, and I made the wall a little bit darker as well. Once I have that, I'm ready to move on to the next step, which would be adding this block above her head. But before I can do that, obviously I have an issue with my wall. I have part of a light, I have a picture frame, and it's not really tall enough. So all I did was just sample this blue color and just paint over top of everything. That made the wall a lot bigger, got rid of these elements, and all I did is just a paintbrush in Photoshop. After I did that, I painted some black on top of the wall to make that wall nice and dark, which will help our glows out later. And then I added a brightness and contrast just to brighten up her skin a little bit and make sure that the background is still dark. Once I have this, I am ready to move on to the next step, which, like I said, is adding this block to the picture. So the block that I have is just a block I found online. It's just a question mark box from the Super Mario games. You can find these all over the internet. Just search for Mario block or question block, and you can get one that might be suitable for your picture. I like this one a lot, like this, but the problem was I wanted it above her head. And when it's above her head, the perspective is just kind of weird, so I had to flip it upside down to make the perspective right. And then after I did that, I just had to turn these question marks the opposite way so they would be going in the correct direction. So once I had that ready, I had my question box in place with the question marks going in the right direction. Then I added a little bit of an outer glow and made it a little bit darker. So once I have my block in the right spot, the next step is going to be adding those glows to the picture. Now I have kind of a method for the way that I add glows to objects, and this is kind of how I do it. So first of all, we have the question mark box right here. You can see that in my layers panel. I got to have some glows behind it, which go below. The layers are going to go below the question block, and I need some glows that are going to go above it. So I have a screen glow above it, I have a color dodge glow above it, and I have a top glow above that. So 4 glows: your behind glows, your screen glows, your color dodge, and your top. Let's go ahead and do the behind ones first. So I just added 2 quick glows. These are just orange colors. One is going to go right behind the box like that, just a nice small glow, and then a larger one to go there as well. These are both in the screen blend mode. So just a small glow that goes behind the box, and then a big one that's going to go behind the box, and it's also going to go on the couch and on the model as well. Once I have my behind glows, I'm ready for my top glows, which is these are going to be in a screen blend mode. You can just change your group to screen blend mode if you want. So I have some edge glows, which just go on the edge of the box. That's all it is, just edge glows right there. And then just more yellow color, which goes over on top of the box, when it also kind of leaks on top of the couch and on top of the model as well. Once I have my screen glows in place, I'm ready for color dodge glows. So just make a group with a color dodge blend mode, and then everything inside of it is going to be color dodge blended. First thing I did was add some sparks. This is just some galaxy and nebula brushes added to the glows. Some more sparks here on the left side. Added some glows on top of the couch. Since it's really close to the top of the couch, it's going to be reflecting more light. And then all of these other highlights on the couch, I just added some highlights there as well. Finally, I added some more catch lights to her eyes and just made that catch light a lot bigger and a lot brighter. So that's my color dodge glows. And then finally, on top of everything, we're going to do two top glows. These are also in the screen blend mode. I've got a yellow one that's just going to go over top of everything, a very large glow that goes over the box and the couch and the model. And then I did a white one that did the same thing. The white one just goes over top of everything as well. And that's pretty much it. This is how I do the glows. I've got the behind glows, the screen glows, the color dodge glows, and my top glows. And you could be done with the project at this point, but I always like to do some color grading, which will really make these glows pop a lot more. So for my color grade, I really only got 4 layers here. My first one is a gradient map changed to soft light. And I created this gradient, just a dark blue to a medium orange to a bright yellow. Change that to soft light, and you're going to get this effect like this. It's just going to make your shadows a lot bluer, make your highlights a lot warmer, and I like that color right there. The next thing I'm going to do is do a lighten, because my contrast is getting a little bit too much. My blacks are too black, my whites are too white, so I just want to tone down the contrast. A good way to do that is to make a gradient map from like a grayish brown color to a lighter tan color. Change that blend mode to lighten, and this will really dampen down your contrast, which I like that a lot for these glowing pictures. Then finally, I've got this gradient map right here, my last gradient map, which is a blue to purple to orange one that I created, and I've got it changed the blend mode to overlay. And when you do that, it really changes the picture and how it looks. The shadows are nice in blue and purple color, but your highlights are nice yellow and orange, and it really brings out those colors nicely doing that. Then I added a vibrance on top of all of that just to make it pop even more. Finally, after I'm completely done with the picture, I just added some sharpening to the overall picture, and then I sharpened up her eyes as well. And guys, that's pretty much it. That is how I created this picture. A lot of it was done in photography because I had that orange glow above her head, and that really helped out in the final picture. You can see how bright the top of her hair is and the top of her hands and her legs, and that really sells the idea that there is an orange glowing box above her head. But I really enjoyed doing this project. My little girl enjoyed it as well. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you learned something from watching my secrets and watching my techniques. And I hope you're able to take these techniques and try it out on your own projects. I would love to see them. But guys, thanks again for watching, and I will check you out again on the next tutorial. Have a great day, guys.